Okay, we're back.
Envoy, hello.
What up?
I'm glad to see you on your feet. Kai. Tej. I'm surprised they let you in here.
I'm surprised you're still gainfully employed.
Perception. Something happened between you two?
It's nothing like that. You run into all sorts of characters around here, is all. Some more polite than others. I didn't mean anything by it, Envoy. He's just curious company for you to keep.
Hey, somebody has to have the envoys back, because you all sure did it.
No one expected the Envoy to get assassinated.
Exactly. Amateurs.
Yo.
Well,
There's more to the story here.
come on, it's funny. Tej caused a ruckus last time he was slumming it at the Balrog. You were trying to kill a man, if I remember right. I had to put you outside.
You threw me into the canal.
You lived.
That water's filthy. I had the runs for 3 days.
Oh,
God, Tej. The envoy doesn't need to know that.
did you really try to kill somebody, Tej? Right.
The fellow cheated me. I couldn't let that slide. Or he'd think we were all marks.
It was over a dice game, right? Tej here has a gambling problem.
I would
Great.
have never.
Let's air all my troubles. Is there anything else?
The bartender's
Yo.
sleeping with your girlfriend.
Yo.
You're lying.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later.
I'm not breaking up with her for you. Just so we're clear.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Was there anything I could help you with, Envoy?
That was crazy. Come on, Tej. You're not going to Kai.
The 7-foot-tall Almawa with biceps the size of my head? No, I am not.
Flatterer. You know I'm barely over 6.5.
Naturally, sir. How can I help you?
I like that instead
What
of
would
this
you
place
like
a
to
little
know?
better. When was the city founded? Who lives here?
If you're looking for a particular year, the first thing you should know about Paradise is that this isn't the kind of place where the locals keep records. And though it might be considered a distant backwater by the rest of the world, this city is the height of civilization by the standards of the living lands. As for who calls this place home, I suspect you could find a criminal, confidence man, or prophet from every civilization in the world here.
Hey, come on. You're gonna give the envoy the wrong idea. We've got draft dodgers, courtesans, and revolutionaries, too. You know, all the fun people.
In any event, as far as I can tell, Paradise has been this way since its inception. Thus the eclectic display of architectural styles. If nothing else, this city is a reflection of the countless people who have passed through it on their way to the interior.
Okay. Yeah, what is this?
Depends on who you ask. Ambassador Heelgard will tell you that our remit here is to establish a secure and orderly environment from which to engage in trade. Inquisitor Liudwin will tell you we're here to break the frontier.
So, which is it?
Why not both?
Perception. I'm not hearing anything about the Dream Scourge.
That's where you come in. Whether you find your desires aligning with the ambassadors or the inquisitors, neither can succeed until the Dream Scourge is ended. We are only beginning to see its effects here in Domshore, but the closer to the center of the island you go, the worse it gets. That bear you and the ambassador encountered in the Strangle Route isn't even the worst of it. and the tide of this soul plague is rising higher every day.
Tell me about the people
The
trying to kill me.
resistance, as such, are largely a group of misfits and criminals intent on undermining the rule of law. They take out loans with small Adheran banking houses and do not pay them, then assault the bankers who attempt to collect. They agree to contracts with families in Adir seeking homes, and when their ships arrive, promptly abandon them. When we levy a small tax to fund the repair of city roads, they set our counting house on fire. And when our fishermen return to port, they board their ships and sink them.
That's certainly one way to characterize them. It's not exactly wrong, but it's not exactly right either.
For decades, people like them ruled this city through fear. We imposed order, and now they oppose us. You, unfortunately, were caught in the crossfire.
See how
Look,
they go.
for all that I complain about this backwater, there are good people here. Same as anywhere else. People who want to be able to walk to the market in the morning for their bread and eggs and know they won't be mugged. People who like it when the mail comes on time, and their skates are made from real copper, and their neighborhood peeping Tom ends up in the stocks. Those people, good and honest people, who pay their debts and honor their contracts and remember to thank the gods. They like us a lot.
I like
By
that
all
shit about
means.
something else. Emperor, dude. The Emperor didn't have time to brief me on the living lands. What do you know? We'll go with
There's a
that.
lot of ground to cover. Could you be more specific?
How does the living land compare to the map?
Ah, the age-old question. Who's bigger? Adir is, naturally, by a wide margin. And were we at the Cartographers Guild in High Crown, I could show you on one of their globes. As it is, we must make do in the theater of our minds.
The living lands.
The Living Lands are located in the far north of Aora. Adir is southwest of the Living Lands, situated along the equator. The Living Lands are more arid than Adir, and the island is more prone to storms. But its many deep valleys protect the various townships from the worst of the weather. Topographically speaking, the Living Lands are a place of extremes. Deep inland, mountains rise high enough to rival those of the White Marge, blanketed year-round in snow. While east of the volcano of Mount Forja is an acid sea that sinks far below the level of the ocean. The lands between them are riven with deep clefts in the earth and isolated by wastelands of sun-baked sand dunes.
The heck?
I'll share what I can.
Who's in power here?
There is no singular authority in the Living Lands.
Not yet, anyway.
I shudder to think what the Living Lands would look like under your rule.
Well, to start, there'd be a lot more brothels.
Charming. Power is invested in the leaders of the various townships scattered across the island. The largest are Fjord, Thirdborn, and Solace. None of which, I will note, are as safe and orderly as Paradise.
What should I know about war?
Fior Messaverno is located in a valley known locally as the Emerald Stair, named for the terraced rice paddies that cover its hillsides.
Oh,
It is our closest neighbor. The city, if you can call it that, was founded 50 years ago by animancers from the Valian Republics. Apparently, the laws governing animancy weren't lenient enough in the Republics. So the city's founders came to the Living Lands, where they could practice their discipline more freely. Currently, Fjord is governed by a man named Ignacy Vidaro, rather inept, to hear the ambassador talk about him. Fjord's farmers supply most of the grain and vegetables we eat here in Paradise. Or it did. Their shipments have been infrequent lately. Something about a blight in the fields. In any event, I believe that covers fuel. The Valian Republics are a collection of city-states in the Eastern Reach, southeast of our former colony, the Deerwood. The Republics began life as colonies of the Grand Empire of Valia, hence the name. But as Grand Valia's economy collapsed, well, the colony saw an opportunity to escape the influence of the Empire of Origin, and they seceded, much as the Deerwood did from Adir. Now, a mature confederation in their own right, the Republics have recently indulged their own expansionist ambitions in the Deadfire Archipelago. Through their merchants in the Valian Trading Company, the Republics will sell you anything you could ever wish to buy.
Up to and including people.
We should count ourselves lucky to have had no interest in the living lands. In a struggle between our Emperor and the Republic's great dukes, well, I doubt we would come out on top. But if anyone asks, I was not the one who told you that.
What is the story of Thirdborn?
Everything you need to know about Thirdborn is in its name. It was founded by the Thirdborn children of Rawatai, Navy dropouts, smugglers, and hands for hire. Almawa and Orleans, mostly.
Home sweet home.
You're free to go back any time you like.
I like my current circumstances just fine, thanks.
They are people, in short, who couldn't cut it in the civilized world, and had to make room on the margins. Unfortunately, they are currently besieged by the Dream Scourge. We have sent some troops to lend what help we can, and the mayor, Temerity, was appropriately grateful, but I don't know how long they'll hold out. Rawatai is one of the old empires, every bit as storied as Grand Valia, or our native Adir. If Adir is to the southwest of the living lands, Rawatai is to the southeast. And unlike our home, their small continent is racked by terrible storms. This is due, or rather, was due, to the island's proximity to Andra's Mortar, the unending super hurricane that once hid the ancient city of Ukaizo. Rawatai is largely peopled by Almawa, descended from those who fled the Deadfire Archipelago centuries ago, when Andra pulled the moon, Ioni Brather, into the sea. They are an aggressive, militant culture, and personally I find their obsession with gunpowder rather quaint. They are also our chief rivals on the world stage.
I don't think they see it that way.
No?
Well, as far as Navy brass is concerned, Adir doesn't really rate.
Now you're just making things up.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we don't think about you at all.
Alright, tell me about
Solace is, what is there to say, really?
Yeah, they tend to have that effect on people.
The trouble is, I don't know much about Solace. Nobody does. They are an isolationist community of Pargrunan dwarves who live in the forbidding ways of Galawain's tusks. They don't let outsiders into their lands, and they don't let their people out of them.
Some folks get out from time to time, but they can't ever go back. And the ones who survive aren't eager to talk about their experiences.
People aside, the land itself is incredibly hostile. The island's volcano, Mount Forja, rests at the heart of the region, and it's recently become active. Half the land is lava rock, and the other half is, well, literally lava.
Oh.
I don't know why anyone lives there. I have to assume they're all insane.
You have no idea.
Well, can you tell me about the dwarves?
The Pargrunan are a unique community of mountain dwarves originating in Old Valia. As a people, they've made their name as explorers, builders, miners. No doubt you've seen their ruins in your travels, Here, back home in Adir, and all across the world.
Oh.
They maintain a rich tradition of oral storytelling, chanted magics, and ritual carving, which they take great pains to record and transmit across their various communities. Even the most physically isolated Pogroom is not alone. Somewhere, one of their people is thinking of them and planning an expedition. Abidan must cherish them.
You sound like you admire them.
I suppose I do.
Huh. Alright, I'd like to ask you about something else.
Of course.
Have you heard a lot of this Inquisitor? Yeah.
Consider yourself lucky. Inquisitor Ludwine is the commander of the Steel Garrote in Paradise. Were you to ask her, she'd say she keeps the peace. But she doesn't keep it so much as prosecute it. As ruthlessly as the ambassador will let her. She's also a veteran of the Steel Garrote's campaign in the Deathfire, where she died.
She's a Death Guard. Well, that explains a lot.
I don't know what happened to her there, but I suppose Wodica wasn't done with her yet.
Oh. Yeah, the Death Guards and Overwatch.
Cryptic Neil! I remember him fondly.
Oh. How did you manage to remember
I took
him?
every upper-level course the university offered on memory and recall to circumvent the Walian glamour on him. And even then, it only barely worked. I had to look at him out of the corner of my eye and half cross them while thinking of something dreadfully boring like, grimoire repair. On the upside, it's made me an exceptional clerk. But that's neither here nor there. We were discussing Death Guards.
Huh. Tell me about Death Guards.
Death Guards are surpassingly rare. Some of the secretaries who traveled without dignitaries in the Deathfire spoke of one named Iser, a devotee of Berith, who guards the hanging sepulchres there. But I have heard of none others except those I've read about in the histories. They are people, most often paladins or priests, so devoted to a cause that they simply refuse to pass on to the wheel when they die. Their soul haunts their body. The passion required to sustain them devours their flesh, and they swiftly turn to bone. I've never read a history nor tale of a Death Guard that did not end with them going quite mad. When they lose their capacity to care for anything but their cause, they cannot love. And when they cannot love, they cannot be merciful. And so everything before them becomes only an obstacle.
Huh. What is before she became a Death Guard? Yeah, what did she like before she became a Death
I
Guard?
only met her once. She was a mid-level member of the Steel Garrote then, chasing Oathbreakers who'd fled Adiran law. She'd come back to the Imperial Archives to borrow a map to a place called Oathbinder's Sanctum. I remember she was furious because the map was quite poor. She worried about finding the place, about properly executing her duty to her god. She wanted, I think, to do a good job. So, while clearly she has changed, in some sense, I'd say she's much the same.
Okay. What do you know about the Silver Rope?
Think upon your promises and die. That's the litany of the Steel Garrote,
Oh, yeah?
usually said right before they kill you. They're an order of paladins born and bred in Adir, though clearly they've found plenty of work beyond our borders. Their remit is simple but comprehensive. They punish all who break their oaths. In practice, that has historically meant contracts. One lord or merchant will hire the Steel Garrote to bring a duplicitous rival to justice.
Fun bunch. What are they doing in Paradise?
Since the events in the Deathfire, their operations have expanded. The Steel Garrote has always been associated with Wodica. Now, they are explicitly her order. And they go wherever Wodica's priests, or Wodica herself, believes there is a need for them to go. The Living Lands are a dangerous, lawless frontier in sore need of order. Thus, they are here. Or so the Steel Garrote say.
The goddess. Okay.
Do you think so? I've always found her inflexibility comforting. Boudica's edicts are clear. If you obey her laws, pursue justice, punish the guilty, and give fealty to the Emperor, then you have pleased her, and I aim to please. But Boudica does not trust. She demands that you declare yourself for her again and again. Her every request is a test, and her every test is an opportunity to disappoint her. I appreciate a god who makes you work for their grace. I don't want anything given to me for free.
Okay. Let me ask you about something else.
I'm an open book.
I was told to meet a witch. What can you tell me about the Witcher?
I trust whomever told you to consult a watcher also told you to avoid the one in the city.
Oh,
She is
Witcher.
a liar and a thief.
Watcher.
Oh, did you take your money?
No. Anyway, watchers are individuals capable of perceiving souls. The soul may be in a living body, or it may simply be lingering, waiting to pass into the in-between. In either case, interacting with a soul allows a watcher to glimpse a person's past lives or their most deeply buried memories. Watchers are incredibly rare, and in Adir, highly controlled. Many people wish to know who they were in a previous life, and do not like what they learn.
Huh. What happened to the Watchers and
The
ideas?
smart ones stay hidden. They do not announce their powers, perhaps not even to themselves. Even a careful watcher risks inadvertently revealing themselves by knowing something they shouldn't know. Of the ones that are public, little is concretely known. But we hear things. They make good judges in Boudica's courts, so long as they're controlled. The lords, it's rumored, buy and sell them to collect blackmail on their enemies. But I suspect many watchers are imprisoned or executed, or simply kill themselves.
What the? Are they dangerous?
A watcher doesn't need your cooperation or consent to read your soul. They could learn everything about you, terribly damaging things about your parentage, for example, or things you did in a past life, without you ever knowing. You see how this could threaten the established order, undermine our betters' right to rule.
Yeah, but that's just one side to it. Imagine how a watcher feels, knowing what a threat they are to the status quo. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be keen on kings and emperors wanting me dead. Sounds like a lot of hassle.
Don't sell yourself short, Kai. I don't doubt you're an expert in people wanting you dead.
You're not wrong.
I rarely am. In any case, the Watcher is fundamentally a tragic figure. Of the few that survive our world, most are destined to go mad.
Could I become a Watcher? I don't think that's a good question. Yeah, there we go. Are there any famous
Well,
Watchers you
the
know about?
Watcher of Cadnua is legendary. It was their castle Aethys destroyed when he began his campaign of terror in the Dead Fire. Oh, by the Queen, I hope I get to meet them someday. In terms of local interest, you'll have heard of Runeed, of course.
And there was Ida. You may not know about her. She was a Watcher from the Living Lands. I believe she was an Orlan. She must have died, 150 years ago. Slain by a great serpent, gods treat kindly with her soul.
Doubtless there are others, but
Most don't meet a good end.
Why not? Can I become
Yes
a watcher?
and no.
Well,
So
that-
far as I
really?
understand it, a Watcher is born a Watcher.
Oh,
But it takes an event, often something shocking or traumatic, to bring a Watcher's powers to the fore. So you may be a Watcher, or I may be, or Kai, and we might not even know.
perception. I know quite a lot about watchers. Honestly.
I don't think so.
The envoy is right. You're basically a Watcher encyclopedia.
Why should a secretary be limited to knowledge of filing systems and how the ambassador takes his tea? I was a boy once. Watchers were a special interest of mine when I was young.
He sounds defensive to me. Does he sound defensive to you, envoy?
Raise your eyebrows. Very defensive.
I'm not a watcher.
Exactly what a Watcher would say.
Both of you, please, your fun puts me at tremendous risk. This isn't a subject the Inquisitor takes lightly.
All right, all right. I know you're not a Watcher, Teach. You'd be better at dice.
Apology accepted.
I like that.
By
It's
all
something
means.
else. You're the ambassador secretary. What's he like?
Well, you'll notice I'm nearly always here. If that man sleeps, I don't know about it. He wouldn't say, but I believe he relied on the claviger far more than he lets on. And without the claviger's steady hand at the rudder, the ambassador's struggling just to bail water from the sinking ship that is Paradise.
Claviger Amon might have tolerated a little more chaos than the ambassador liked, but he kept this place humming. He's not someone you can easily replace, and not with one man alone.
It's a difficult job. The pressure sometimes gets the better of him. But if he loses his temper now and then, I can't blame him for it. Better him than me.
So what is he like when he's not working?
He doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, in our first days here, he'd often walk to the end of the docks at sunrise. The work was done, the embassy was closed, and he'd still be wearing the same clothes he'd slept in at his desk. And he'd just stare out over the sea. He always seemed dissatisfied back then. I suppose, years later, he still does.
You don't want his job?
Be serious. Most of us here didn't get sent to the frontier because we're anybody's favorite. The longer I'm here, the more likely the people who matter are to forget me. And I'd actually like to get back to High Crown someday. Get married, have a few kids, take the civil exams, and settle into a permanent
I
clerkship.
thought you said you had a
I
wife.
guess there are worse ways to spend a life.
Like rotting in this embassy.
Huh.
Of course.
I should know.
Should you ever need me, I will be here. Safe travels, envoy.
Wow, he had a lot to say. Huh.
You're the one they all crow about, eh? Best hunter and guide in all of Dawnshore?
Just Dawnshore? Phew, must be slipping.
You just look like a drunken dwarf to me. Seen 1,000 of you roaming back home in Adir. Ha! The mighty Marius, deep in his cups, ready to take on the deadliest prey, providing they're asleep at the time.
Right. Take another sip, Cool. Rude not to finish a drink someone bought for you.
No wonder you're hiding behind a mug. You're too worried about being polite to survive out there.
The dwarf there is Marius. Best tracker I know.
Interesting. Let's see how he plays out. A real expert would be able to withstand being taunted by their lesson. Let's see how it plays out.
I heard you're from Solace Keep. How great a survivor could you be, hiding behind stone walls all your life?
You don't know anything about me, you endearing Nimdut. So maybe go back and take another blessed day sip.
But here you are. Tell me, how does one get kicked out of a place that never lets anyone leave?
You wanna talk so much, I'll cut you a second mouth across your throat.
This one looks like he's well under control.
Marius can handle himself. Of course, if you're bored, we could always start something anyway.
Your friend looks like he's got this well under control.
I think this is about to get interesting.
I knew you were blessed in Nimdut the moment I saw you coming. Thought maybe I'd teach you a lesson. So I paid the bartender a few gold to drop a tiny bit of widow's kiss into a cup and serve your drink in it. Cramps should be starting in a few minutes, so, if you want to fight, we should go ahead and get started.
I've only heard of widow kiss being used to inject venom. Drinking and water should be safe. Yeah.
You know your stuff, but I doubt they do.
Envoy, you see? Will you stand by and allow this maniac to poison a fellow subject of the Emperor?
You'll survive as long as you run away now.
Oh, I can feel it. Gods, you.
Oh, that is quick. You better get to a healer before the poison spreads to your brain.
You wait, Marius. I'll be back. Hopefully.
Well, that was something.
Marius, this is the infamous Adiran envoy. Envoy? Marius.
Well, any friend of Kai's is definitely a person.
What just happened? Widow's kiss is only harmful if injected. Nah, I have to find some. Yeah, I need to find the assassin. He tells me the best one for the job.
I need to see the scene of the crime, over by the town gates. I promise there's something left there we can use to track them.
You okay, Jess?
Bloodstains, footprints, darts left behind. If we find anything at all, we can find your assassins. We'll figure this out, Amakul. Don't you worry.
Hey. Are you still on my team? Do I have both of y'all? Huh.
See, Marius? Told you I wasn't ready to hang it up yet.
I had it under control, Amakul. But thanks.
Ah, it's the principle of the thing. Now, what'll it be?
I'm interested in what you know.
If you want information, I've got it. Just a matter of what you'll pay for it. There's a rumor about a valuable Pargroon stash north of here. You didn't hear that from me, though. Some Svef user told me he had a vision out by the eastern ruins. Not sure what that's worth to you. I hear there's trouble out in Thirdborn. They're blocking the roads off, and they won't tell anybody why. The locals are worried about the Steel Garrote coming into town. Whatever Wodica wants, she's bound to find it. It's getting more expensive to bring produce in from Fjord. Whatever's going on, that doesn't bode well.
This man knows a lot. Take the lockpick. Oh no. I don't want this. Or we're actually I'll keep it. Oh yeah. Nice. I guess that's not the one. Oh wait.
You're the Adiran envoy, aren't you?
When you catch your killer, make sure it hurts.
I mean, I don't want it to hurt. Come on. Let's go. All right, there we go.
Right here. This is where the envoy fell.
If it were me, I'd take the shot from up there above the embassy. Let's see if we can get up there.
You know what? What does that do? Oh. Yeah. Oh. Hold on. All right. Hold on.
Now, why would I want to leave a mark right by that pile of crates?
Oh.
With any luck, your assassins will be as bad at hiding their tracks as they were at making sure you stay dead.
Damn it. I'll get back over there. You okay, Jess? Come on. Oh.
Smells familiar, but I can't place it. Whatever it is, it's not used for game hunting or keeping beasts out of your garden. The apothecary might know more. That's where I'd look.
Seems like a good place to start.
Without a second thought. I've bought my fair share of poisons in case some nim dude out there tries to take something I need. Go back to the market and up the stairs to the east. You'll see a large building with a big window on top.
The Mermaid's Den. Nice place. We should say hello to Juliana while we're there.
The apothecary's in the back alley. Any luck? We could track down who made this poison. Find your killers.
All right. I think, wait.
tragedy. The recently arrived envoy from Adir was assassinated just inside the front gate. The killer is still at large.
Yeah, somebody killed me.
Walk in, give her the letter, and go. You can do this. You don't have to say anything. The letter will do the talking for you.
Come in.
I'm using my storage.
Lay down, buddy.
Sort of. Maybe you can help. I was seeing this girl, Nasha, down at the bathhouse. I'm sure it was just business at first, but we fell in love. I haven't been in a while, though. And the thing is, I've met someone else. I suppose. Still, I can't just abandon her. I wrote her a letter, but I'm too cowardly to deliver it. If you're headed that way, would you mind giving it to her? Thank you. I used to wonder why no one talked about this. Now I understand. Nasha should be working right now. The place is called the Mermaid's Den. It's the big one with the balcony and the round window.
Hey, I just happened to be going there.
Maybe try pulling it next time.
Your affairs of men have no place at this tree.
Oh, it just doesn't work.
Okay.
What do you want? Quickly! I have an audience waiting for me.
Is there something wrong?
Everything! This performance is a nightmare. My friends thought it'd be funny to get roaring drunk last night. Only one showed up today, and he was in no shape to perform. They've all gathered out there, and I don't have a show to give them. I can't play every part myself. I just can't.
You'll be fine. Theaters are about the unexpected, isn't it?
I've heard imagining the audience naked helps.
Do you really believe that?
Depends on the audience, I guess.
I suppose they wouldn't object to a one-man show? The question is, which one? I've only memorized a few. I could do Beltramo's Lament, or the Deerwood Tree, or maybe the May Queen's Conquest.
Yeah, give him a laugh.
Yes, that should do perfectly. Thank you again, my friend. Now to go out and face them.
Good luck.
Dear listeners, a solo performance I have for you today. Prepare to be awed by beats of verse and memory. But before the show begins, perhaps a demonstration to whet your appetites. Follow me on an auditory adventure, a tour of the living lands and its most wild creatures. First, let me introduce you to the mating call of the Stelgar, the ruin of so many. A silent and stealthy feline. Few have heard its call, and fewer still have lived to tell the tale. Hold your applause, my dear friends. There's more to come. Perhaps you've heard the fearsome Stelgar before. After all, just a small few have lived after running into one. But have you ever heard the distress call of a fearsome Bellarok?
Oh, yeah?
Of course not! Bellarocks live deep within the living lands, rarely seen by any but the bravest souls. And if you are unlucky enough to face this scaled abomination, they are dangerous from teeth to tails. Now, when you hear this, I must ask that you remain where you stand. There is nothing to fear. All is well. I assure you. It's as if the monsters are present with us at this very moment, is it not? But fear not! It is only I. Thank you all for your time. My name is the Guru, and it has been an honor to perform for you. Allow me just a brief intermission, and I promise yet more to dazzle and delight you.
Huh. Time to go.
Let me tell you, priestesses of Boudica may preach about law, but they find themselves in such disorder.
Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Still alive, huh? Don't go up these stairs if you want to keep it that way.
Oh, yeah? Huh. But yeah, this looks like it'd be a good place to call it. We'll pick it up from here on the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video.